Hey guys, this is Tim with THB Fishing for Recovery. Tonight we're going to talk about step 2. It's probably one of my favorite steps because that's where I started connecting back with God spiritually. Because while I was out there using and running around all crazy and everything, God was the last thing on my mind. All I had on my mind was staying high, and getting some more high. And that was my job. It was a full-time job every day. So when I got out of prison this last time, I was really mad at God. And I sat in about 30 meetings every day for 30 days. And I'm sitting there not saying nothing. And I'm mad at God because of this free will. I prayed to God every day to stop me from hitting this pipe. Please stop me from hitting this pipe. Well, that wasn't God. God will help you stop, but you've got to make that choice on your own. And that's where these steps come in, where I learned to use these steps. So step 1 says we admitted we were powerless over our addiction and that our lives had become unmanageable. Step 2 says we came to believe a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Step 1, we admitted that we were, thinking insane. We kept doing the same thing over and over, expecting something different, which, that's the definition of insanity. Well, step 2, when we finally came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. That's, where it all started, where I started connecting back with God spiritually. And I wouldn't, this program's not religious, it's spiritual. And it's all about connecting back with God spiritually and staying connected. It's not God's fault, about me getting away from him, because when I was out there in my addiction, God was the last thing I was thinking about. My family was the last thing I was thinking about. All I had on my mind was getting some more high, and staying high. And that was a full-time job. So when I started working these steps and started getting connected back with God, I realized, working these steps, that free will is the greatest gift God ever gave us. And I hated God because of free will. And when I was sitting in them meetings, and I finally realized working these steps that, free will is the greatest thing he ever gave us. So that's, the best thing I can tell you about that. But, and when we get back connected with God, we get happy and we get that peace. But the Bible's definition of happiness is being happy means being content in any situation, even the bad. I'm happy, even in the bad, because I know that God's going to turn it around for the best for me. And when I come out the other side, I'm going to be stronger than I was when I started. And, I have bad days, and we all have bad days. But, I know if I don't use and I hang in there, and, it's not about, we can't quit with just willpower alone. We have to have a higher power to hit, nobody has the willpower. But once you start working these steps and you get your choices back, and you get to choose and surrender every day to God's will, not your will, man, that's the greatest feeling ever. And you just don't know how these steps help you. Okay, I use NAAA and Celebrated Recovery. I kind of use it like a tackle box. Some days I use Celebrated Recovery, and when I use it, I'm usually using Jeremiah 11 through 29, 11 through 15. And it says, "For I know the plan I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And hope is all we can ask for being an addict, because we used to be on dope and we were hopeless. But now we're dopeless with plenty of hope. And hope is a great thing, you know. And you got to change the way you think, because we've got, being an addict, we got this crazy person inside our head that's telling us all this crazy stuff every day. You got to stop listening to that person and take advice from other people. And I love the old timers more than anything, because they help me more than just you can't imagine, you know, to help you get through the bad days. But if you'll work this program and give it 120%, and you've got to work it every day, never let your guard down, you can, you know, you can stay clean. 9 years and 12 days today and counting. But the only day that counts is today. And I'm not going to use today, because a grateful addict will never use. And I heard, you know, I heard that so much. And when I first got in recovery, you know, and you just think you never have to use again. That was the first meeting I ever went to. Somebody told me that you'd never have to use again. And I believe that. And I believe that a grateful addict will never use. So every morning when I wake up, I think of something different that day to be grateful for. Not grateful, I'm always grateful that the Lord woke me up that day. But I always look for something else during that day to be grateful for. I learned that in prison. And believe it or not, I learned a lot of things in the substance abuse program in the Alabama Department of Corrections. You know, it's hard to believe that you learn stuff in prison, but I actually did learn that. And I'm happy. And the Bible says being happy is being content in any situation. And I've learned to be content more than probably anybody out there. And I'm going to be grateful, and I'm going to think positive. And anything that I do, I'm going to be on time or early. I'm going to give it my all. And I'm going to make sure anybody around me, we're going to do the same thing. Because, you know, I'm tired. I got tired of being that, you know, person that never was on time, never did what he said he was going to do. And you know, when you get tired of that and you realize that that's, you know, that ain't me. That wasn't me. That was, you know. But now that I'm in recovery, I know every day when I get up, I'm going to be positive no matter what the situation is. I'm going to be content in any situation. And I'm going to love everybody around me except old Satan. And, you know, I say the serenity prayer probably 100 times a day, because, you know, I work with some people that, you know, I still pray for them. But, you know, they may still be on drugs. But I pray for them, and I'm never going to give up on them, because my mama never gave up on me. And I'm never going to give up on anybody till they take their last breath. So if you're out there in your addiction right now, if you will, you know, message me or get in touch with me, we're going to do everything possible to get you into some kind of program, some kind of rehab and detox, you know. We're going to do all we can do, because that's what our job is now. We've had that spiritual awakening, and, you know, we can't keep what we got unless we don't give it away. And I've realized something, that a lot of people, it took me, you know, 9 years and 12 days probably, but I'm in love with my recovery. I really am in love with my recovery. And without my recovery, I don't have a life. And so, you know, my recovery and God is number one. God and recovery is number one in my life, and family next, then maybe fishing. We'll see about that part. But thanks for, you know, listening. And if you don't mind, please like, subscribe, and share, because we're trying to get out there to as many people as possible to try to help the, you know, these younger generation especially. And there's no help for like older people like me. You know, people just give up on them. And you know, there is hope for, you know, Here's what I learned something. We can't change the past, but we can change the ending. And with that, I'm going to let you think about it. We can't change the past, but we can change the ending. And I love you, and keep praying for us, and please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.